In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut a monostrap ruched shoulder dress with side ruche. So if this is something you like, please kindly hit on the subscribe button. And this dress is from Classic Chic Locks on Instagram. So to start, here is my pattern paper. So first, we're going to work on the upper part of this pattern, which includes the shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waistline. At first, I have like 1 inch at the upper part, which will serve as my starting line also. Now I'll be using it as a guide to where I'll be joining my shoulder. Next, I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 at the starting line, and I'll come down by 1 inch. Here I'll mark 3 inches for my neckline, and I'm going to place my ruler to connect. The next step is to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'm going to place my ruler and draw out a straight line. I'll place my tape and I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2 again there. Now I'll place my ruler and draw a straight line. After this, I'm going to place my tape. I'll mark the midpoint and come out by ½ inch. Here I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'm going to connect from there to the ½ inch and to the upper part. Now the next step I'll take is to go ahead to insert my measurement, but I'll go ahead to outline my pattern. At the bust, I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 33 inches divided by 4. I have 8.3. Now, I'll add my sewing allowance. At the under bust, I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4 plus my sewing allowance. Repeat the same process on the waist. Now, I'll place my ruler and I'm going to connect this all the way down. And after I'm done connecting at this part, I'll go ahead to use my ruler to outline. So if you're cutting your pattern, it should be on fold. Now I'm going to extend this extra 1 inch I added. This is because at the upper part of this dress we have a ruche. Now this extra 1 inch we are adding to it is going to serve as the part after we are done joining. We are now going to top stitch it to the front or to the back side of the shoulder to form a channel where we are going to pass our rope to create that ruche at the upper part of the neckline. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut the rest of my pattern, and I realized I didn't mark out a neckline. I'll just mark a basic neckline of 3 by 3 inches, and I'll go ahead to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'll just go ahead to cut this out. Now this is what I have, and I'll cut out the sides of my pattern. After this, I'm going to mark the band of the dress. Now the band of this dress is a bit high, so I'll be using 3 inches from the waistline. Now I'll go up at the other side mark. Note this band starts all the way from the front to the back of the dress. Now I'll place my ruler and draw out a straight line, and I'm going to be cutting that out. So this band should be the size of your waistline plus your zipper allowance. So whatever I have here, I'll extend it to the round measurement of my waist and add a zipper, which it will continue to the back. So I don't want to have joining on each side of my pattern. So I'll just go ahead and multiply what I have on this band by 2 and add a zipper to it. Next, I'll go ahead to open up my dress, and now we'll draw out the monostrap on this dress. So I'll just go ahead and connect this all the way to the armhole of the other side of my dress, and I'll be cutting this out. After cutting this dress out, I'm just going to go ahead to use this part to cut the the back part of this dress. So this 1 inch, now you're going to tape it down at the shoulder to create the space to pass your rope through it to create that ruche at the shoulder. So now I'm placing my pattern on another pattern paper, which is the back, and I cut out about 1.5 inches at the front, which will serve as the zipper allowance of this dress. Now remember, the back pattern is also on fold and the front pattern on fold. If you notice, I started placing my pattern after the zipper line. Now I'll go ahead and trace the sides of my pattern, After tracing that out, I'll trace the neckline area and the armhole area of this pattern. Now I'll reduce the neckline of the back to about 1.5 inches because I will not be needing that whole neckline. I'll still cut it out. So I'll just go ahead and pin out the zipper of this dress this way. Now after pinning it out, I'll place the front part. So in a monostrap dress, the front and the back should be matching. Now what I'll do is just to trace out this part, and after I'm done tracing that out, what I have is this. Now I'm going to go ahead to take out the zipper bulge at the center of the back. I'll go in by ½ inch and I'll extend it all the way up, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. After cutting this out, I'll slit the zipper area. So you notice at this part of your pattern, the zipper area is not aligning. Go ahead to chop out the excess, and this is what I have for the back pattern. Now at the front part and also at the back pattern, you're going to ruche the shoulder area, like you're going to slash it so that you spread it out a little, so that by the time you pass that thread on it, you're going to have a little ruche at the shoulder of the dress. That is, by the time you spread it back on your pattern, cut it, then you will use that extra 1 inch on top to fold when you're joining the dress, and you're going to have a ruche there. Now for this dress, at the lower part, you're going to cut it in form of a flay. So if you look at the flay, it is not too much, so you can use a 180-degree flay. So to fold that, you place your pattern on triangle, like fold it in form of a triangle. Now calculate the total waist, your round waist measurement plus your zipper allowance. So my waist is 28 plus my zipper allowance. Let's say I'm adding 1 inch on both sides, which will give me 2 inches. Now what I have will be around 30 inches, but sake of my pattern paper is not enough, let's just use another measurement. So let's say my waist round is 30 or 20 inches. Is 20 inches, and let's say we divide it by 2. Now if we divide it by 2, place that measurement, which is 10 inches, place it on a straight line. Now measure from that point you have to the pointy edge. So I'll just go ahead and make a line there, draw out a straight line so that you will not be confused. Now place the measurement you have, starting from that point to that line. So whatever you have, you're going to take it round. This is to make sure that you have a round waistline at the waistline of your pattern. Now you're going to connect. So to get the full length of your dress, let's say your dress is 60, you're going to minus your shoulder to waist from it. So my shoulder to waist is 17 inches, and let's say the full length of my dress is 60. So if you minus 17 from 60, you'll be having 43. So let's say this is the length, this is the 43 inches. All you have to do is from the waist of your dress, go ahead and place your measurement and mark that 43 inches. Now while you're marking it, you're going to add like a folding allowance to it, that is extra 1 inch, which your pattern might be 44 inches now because of the additional 1 inch for folding. So this is what I have on my pattern. Now open up your pattern this way, and this is what I have. Now on this side of one side of the pattern, you notice there's a ruche. Now what you will do is pick a point where you want it to be at the waistline, obviously by the side of the front. So cut out your pattern or a piece of fabric. Now you're going to fold the edge round so that it will be neat. Now on that point you want it to be, you're going to place it, and you're going to run a top stitch by the sides. So let me go ahead and use my tape to hold it as if I have a top stitch there. Now you're going to add a top stitch to both sides of the pattern. That is top stitching it on top of the fabric. So after top stitching that is on both sides this way, you're now going to top stitch at the center. With that way you have created 2 channels. What you now do is to make a rope, and you're going to pass it underneath it. Then go ahead to top stitch it on top. When you drag the rope, you're now going to have that ruche effect we have at the side of the dress. So see you in our next video.